히트 시즌 2.
What's underneath Wolf's monitor? What does he have in his shirt down there? Like, can't
nothing.
tell.
Nobody can see. We actually used to have these little SPL2016 badges, but then they're like, no, nobody can see them anyways. So.
Yeah, I don't know. We lost them somehow. It was a bit sad.
They're gone.
They're gone.
It's okay.
But the big question on everybody's mind is, does BrAvO do the Cyclone push or not? The map we're going into is New Gettysburg, so it's possible. It's a pretty short rush distance on the bridge, which isn't...
It's not too far, you know?
Yeah, it's early enough in the game that push works out to where you do want to take the bridge anyways. The Pro isn't going to have like too much of an advantage on the other side.
Yeah. Probably,
unless he knows something I don't know. This map is still fairly new. I think there's a high chance we see either a Widow Mine drop or the Cyclone push. The Cyclone push is so strong right now. It was defeated last night by Stats when Cure did it in the GSL Code S with Blink. So we'll see if like Pro players are starting to figure this out. But man, Hush is 0-6. Ouch.
Yeah, and you could take a look at his record. He's 20-31 overall. So before this season, he was 20-25, which is not bad. I mean, you're getting close to 50% win ratio there. And we actually do have a vote for Hush. And I feel like this is that desperation move that Kanata goes for. He's like, I'm so far behind. Everybody's going to vote for BrAvO. So if I get this right, then I'm going to push ahead. But guys, don't be fooled. Hush definitely the underdog here, especially BrAvO's been playing a lot better nowadays.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, we are going to jump into game number 2 right now on New Gettysburg. Down here in the bottom right in the blue for Samsung Galaxy Con, it's BrAvO.
And over in the bottom left, in yellow, his opponent, it is Hush. Known by many to be the brains of CJ, but has not the same success in televised matches.
Welcome to the Super Weekend. That's what we got going on, guys. We're going to have 5 matches instead of 4 this weekend. We're going to have 3 of those being played tomorrow, 2 tonight.
This is SKT's doubleheader weekend. It was Jin-Air's last weekend, and I think that's part of the reason why CJ was able to defeat them in that spectacular match, because they just had prepared more for the Jin-Air versus KT matchup specifically. BrAvO does the wall off here, which is something that you and I have both talked about actually at length about how this is likely to become the norm on this map for both Crosses and Terrans, to just wall this off to stop early pressure, force the Adept to take a longer route, and the Probe as well. And so, as you can see, the Probe is already taking that longer route in order to scout. And both players are going for CC first and Nexus first, so Town Hall's first here to get the economy flowing.
We're going to start off with a bit of a slower start here, and we've been seeing a little bit of Sky Toss actually on this map. I'm not sure if we're going to see it in this matchup. Hush is, as you said, kind of the brains of the team. He's a fantastic practice partner. Whenever the CJ players were doing well, especially last year, Hero and BL, they would always refer to him and say, this guy helped me practice so much, he provided me with so many builds, he just gave me great insight into the matchup. They only had great things to say about him. And, you know, he's just one of those players that he comes out on stage and maybe he gets a little bit nervous, or he can't really quite, you know, mechanically do the build as well as some other players, such as Heroes or BL, but he knows the idea behind it.
Yeah, he's what Artosis likes to call a practice bourgeois. You know, he's killing it in-house, top of the rankings, creates the builds the fastest on maps like this, which is probably the reason why he's been sent to this map. But in this game, already a slight advantage to Hush because he was able to deny that that CC for so long. It is double orbitals coming up now into a factory straight away, as BrAvO was also able to ascertain that Hush is going for a fast Nexus. He's just going to cut production on attacking units entirely here, and it will be a Stargate coming out for Hush. So obviously air units very strong on this map if you're not going to be going for an early ground push, because the air distance, especially with the wall off, is much shorter than the walking distance.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about that Sky Toss. I'm not sure if we're going to see it here against Terran. Generally, Terran, you know, they're going to be making medevacs. They need it in their army. Even if they're going mech nowadays, you want to be moving those tanks around and stuff. But even that doesn't happen. So you're going to be making medevacs, and it's going to be very easy to drop that location. Unless, you make a bunch of Phoenixes and you try to, you shut it down, any drops coming in, but even then it can be a bit hard.
This looks like a variation of the same sort of push that we saw in the past. Now, you might be saying back at home, well, he's got 2 barracks. It's a late starport. What if this is just an anti-air cyclone? I think it will initially serve that role, but he's going for double barracks to have a Marine count to push by ground with Marines, and that follow-up with the Liberator. I think he's going to go 1 Viking as well. That'll also shut down Warp Prisms and Oracles. He's going to go for the tank, and he will push across the map with a larger Marine count than normal. He's going to use the Cyclone to deter the Stalker. Repairs the depot as well.
Oh boy. And this Stalker's going to go down. All it can do is try to get as much damage as possible. And when you're going for a very early third base like this, you need every unit possible. Right now he's got 1 Stalker, 1 Oracle, and a Mothership Core.
He's making a Void Ray. That's interesting. The Void Ray is not going to be for a timing attack since he has a 3rd Nexus on the way.
I suppose it's just going to be for defense. I mean, you were talking about this kind of aggressive 1-1-1 style that's generally on 1 base, but this time it seems like BrAvO wants to mix it up a bit, just put on some pressure with similar style. No Liberators just yet.
This is also the 2-1-1 because he went 2 barracks. He's doubled the Marine production. Well, really tripled it because he's going for that reactor. Although I suppose that's normal for the Marine push anyways.
Oh, okay. I was like, huge supply block, but the Nexus finishes. So he's actually totally fine. He's got a couple more pylons on the way.
This Void Ray here is really interesting. It's like he's trying to get lucky and catch a unit. But otherwise, I don't think it's going to be very useful here. This pylon is going to get focused down. If he overcharges, that'll be disappointing.
Oh no! God, the Mothership Core getting way too close!
No way. That just happened in a professional match. That was a huge overextension. This Void Ray overextension might be a big deal as well. Okay, just out of range there. Oh, making the mistake to fight the medevac. I don't know if this is the right choice. Probes off the line here. A huge follow-up with the 2nd Cyclone here and more tanks. I think that is just going to be too much pressure. He survives for now, but triple Marine production, more medevacs coming as well. The 3rd base is something I guess he doesn't know about yet, and that could be one way Hush comes back in this game if he stays here too long.
Also, yeah, he had a lot of minerals and gas saved up, and all of his gateways just finished. I think he's sitting at 6 right now.
And so
he was able to warp in a bunch of adepts, and here we go.
Oh, the Void Ray over here is not caught, actually. And look at this. The Stalkers over here will actually get on top of the tank before the Liberator is ready, and he will win this fight, in fact. It's not like the game ends here, but the push ends at this moment in time. BrAvO does have a 3rd CC on the way, Stim +1, and I guess this game will just simply normalize from here.
Yeah, I mean, Hush, he holds, right? He has that 3rd base. He doesn't have a huge probe count right now because he actually had to cut probes in order to hold that off, squeeze out all the units, as many warp-ins as possible, all the Void Rays as well. But now he can start producing off of 3 Nexi, and he's taking control of this game. He's even going to move across here and try to poke. Not going to work because there is a tank in position. But
yeah, those aren't Dragoons, but still the same rules apply, man. If you had that depot and 1 siege tank and no Marines versus Dragoons in StarCraft 1, they'd never cross the bridge. And this is going to be a similar sort of situation, even with vision from the Oracle. He also had to pull probes in that fight as well, so I think that's part of the reason why he lost some. He lost some mining with that as well. I really thought that push was going to go differently because of the control mistakes by Hush, but when you look at what happened with the lost Void Rays and the lost Mothership Core, he could have held this even harder. And this may be kind of a dying style in TVP as pros are finally responding and starting to innovate against it. The Void Ray play, I feel like it's somewhat gimmicky, but it's working out here at the end of the day.
And I mean, with this kind of style, right, it hits a lot later, so the Protoss is going to have a lot more options, especially as those gateways came online. It was like, well, just 1 warp and of adepts, and you're going to be totally fine. He had all the tools that he needed to deal with the Liberator in the sky, too, so he's able to shut that down. And as you said before, this is kind of just going to normalize here, as BrAvO now takes his 3rd base. And we're finally going to get to see a bit of a longer one on this map. We haven't seen too many long games here, especially in this matchup.
Yeah, only ones we've really seen are the PvPs with carriers and stuff, the island base taking. We've seen that in PvZ as well. But yeah, in this matchup, this match doesn't occur that often on this map, and when it does, it's usually ended by some aggression. I had like I felt like it was a really good thought, but it was somehow lost. But I'm sure it'll come back to me. But oh, about the Void Rays. So the Void Rays did a lot to slow that push down and really like nullify its early pressure, as some really cool Cyclone Micro has shown. But it's really, I think, the key about them is they kill the Liberators, and the Liberators are the problem in this matchup right now. We saw BrAvO play the same matchup on Overgrowth a few weeks ago in a crazy game that he should have like lost by miles, but there wasn't enough anti-air to deal with the Liberators, and we're starting to see Process finally figure out, okay, if we can kill the Liberators and keep our Stalkers alive, we can win fights, but if we don't have enough anti-air, even if our army's twice as big, you know, you can't kill the Liberators, you can't win the fight.
I love what Hush is doing here with all the pylons at the top of the map. He's just getting immense amounts of vision at the top. He knows Liberators are going to be coming in, drops are going to be coming in, and with how far away this fourth base is all the way up at the top, you do need to have that vision. Unfortunately, he doesn't see... well, he doesn't commit to killing this Liberator somehow. The Void Ray actually didn't stay with the Liberator. It's now all the way up in the top left.
Yeah, it must have been an all-select army hotkey or something.
Or like on attack move up there, and it just lost it, so it just continued. And here we go, dropping in the main at the same time.
Yeah, this Void Ray not also really paying attention, just wasting his prismatic alignment. Now actually fighting Greens and not even sniping a medevac. 2 Widow Mines helping out here. Gonna hit some of these warping in units. Some indecision here by BrAvO on what to target. Decides to go for the Forge, but look at this again. More damage being done by this Liberator here in the middle of the base.
There's a pylon in position, but Hush is definitely scrambling here to try to defend this. But here we go, he's going to try to get onto this army, and with the blink and the shade, he is going to do exactly that. Even some Adepts coming from behind.
This isn't all of BrAvO's army. This was just his drop. He brings the rest of his army. Way too much AoE damage done with those Widow Mines. This army is out of shields and out of time. We're going to see these attempted shades to escape as the drop comes back as well. This looks like Hush has taken too much damage to his army. It will take a lot for him to survive the next push.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe if he has some overcharges, but there's no pylons in position here. And the surround from BrAvO, I think that's going to be it here.
Well, the Void Rays do some serious work from the flank. He has 3 Widow Mines up here at the front, which is going to make it tougher to engage. A lot of his army supply isn't all these medevacs. So when you look at this army, it looks bigger than it really is. But still, he has the better upgrades here, and he is just going to smash this army and win the game.
Widow Mine hits are good. The push is good, and BrAvO is going to take game number 2 here, as it's only a matter of time for Hush to leave this game. GG! Taking that win for Samsung, tying it up.
The push doesn't have to win the game. It just needs to do critical damage. He killed a lot of probes. He had a follow-up third base. The fact that Hush had a third base was irrelevant because there were no probes mining from it. So it was like, really all that, oh, nice ceremony here. All that third base really was 400 minerals in the Nexus that couldn't be used. The follow-up push did a lot of damage. He lost a lot of expensive units. He teched slowly because he spent his gas on Void Rays, remaking his mothership, making a lot of Adepts, for example, that he couldn't really pressure with. He was never harassing. He had a Warp Prism, but it didn't do damage. So he just like had his upgrades late. He didn't have a large enough army. He had Void Rays, which weren't good for fighting, and he still couldn't kill the Liberators. BrAvO just out-harassed him and outplayed him and pushed him to the brink there, and he failed to deal with all that harassment, all that pressure.
Hush can't seem to stomach it as he takes his 7th loss of the entire 2016 Pro League. Just cannot find success so far in this season. You really got to feel for him. He's, you know, I hate to say it, but he's not performing now. He was doing a little bit better last year, and it's, you know, part of the reason why CJ also doesn't have, they don't have the occasional win here from Hush, so they're also not doing as well as a team.
Imagine if your entire career for the year, you're not qualifying for individual leagues, or if you are, you're not advancing past the first stage. You're not able to qualify, you're not able to play in individual leagues, and you are fielded consistently in Pro League 7 times, and you have not taken a single win this year. And that's your career, and that's your job as a pro gamer. I can't even imagine how he must feel, especially because his team respects him so much to field him this many times. He's considered the brains. You could see Bunny and Hero here trying to come over and calm him down after what was a pretty tough loss to take. But at the end of the day, like, the results need to come, and if they don't,
Yeah, you guys saw Wolf on screen. He's just like, I don't know. And you could see Hush visibly upset there as he actually, just gets out of that booth. But guys, we're going to have the biggest matchup of this, the biggest game of this matchup, I should say. It's going to be Deer versus Hero. And this really could go either way. Hero's got a really nice record against Deer. He's taken games against him in really big games before. But, Deer is doing quite well for himself nowadays as well.
Yep, I think we're going to take a quick commercial break, though, guys, before we jump into that one. So tell your friends to tune in for the best PvP of the night. See you then.